motion for the adoption of the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 21st May 2019. I so move.
Send Joshua Lidani.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Joshua Lidani, representing Gombe South. I rise to second the motion that the votes and proceedings be adopted. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the 21st May 2019 be approved, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 21st May 2019 is hereby approved. Let me, on behalf of our colleagues, congratulate one of our colleagues and Yeli Omogwa. His birthday is 22nd. Wish him many more years of prosperity and good health. Let me also acknowledge the presence of staff and students of Royal Family Academy, WE Abuja, and staff and students of Samnis International School, Karu, Nasarawa State, who are in our gallery to observe our proceedings. I wish them a successful observation of our proceedings. You please now sit down. Leader of the Senate. Point of order, Senator.
Mr. President, I come under personal explanation. By the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate may make a personal explanation. Although there may be no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail to the President of the Senate when his leave to make it is sought. Mr. President, I stand to bring the attention of the country and this distinguished chamber. Last Sunday, some gunmen stormed a church, Equa Church in Kaduna State, outskirts within my constituency. Took away the pastor and 15 other worshippers that have still not been traced. This is part of the problems that we continuously face as a people. But I must appreciate the effort of the Inspector General of Police with the raid on the hideouts of these criminals between Kaduna and Abuja, and the whole of weapons and ammunition that have been able to be seized, and the fact that also many of them have been arrested. But still, danger is still living with us. The incidence of kidnapping is an issue by hope, but only by action. And in relation to that is what has happened yesterday in Kaduna State, where there was gunmen attack in some 3 local governments, Bazari, Jibia, and one other. And video clips is being circulated of Nigerians moving towards Niger Republic as internally displaced persons. This is a law we have become as a nation, and I believe that we should not get tired of bringing this issue to the national discourse, pressing on those with responsibility to do what needs to be done. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you. This point of order.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Ibrahim Abdullahi Kambaba, and I represent Sokoto South Senatorial District. Mr. President, I come under Order 14 and 15. I read with your permission, sir. Privileges are the rights enjoyed by the Senate collectively and by the members of the Senate individually, conferred by the Legislative Houses Powers and Privileges Act, Cap 208, Laws of the Federation 1990, and other statutes, or by practice, precedent, usage, and custom. B, whenever a matter of privilege arises, it shall be taken up immediately Order 15. Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice a motion declaring that a contempt or breach of privilege has been committed, or referring the matter to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges. But if the matter is raised in committee of the whole Senate, the chairman shall lead the chair to report progress. Mr. President, sir, the Senate may recall that on the 7th of June 2017, I raised a motion that borders on extortion of pilgrims by the National Hajj Commission chairman. And this matter was brought before the Senate and it was referred to the Committee on Foreign Relations. Committee on Foreign Relations actually submitted their report, which was considered on 25th of July, and on the same date, 2017, and on the same date, an ad hoc committee was also constituted to take up the matter. I was part of the committee that was raised. We went to Saudi Arabia. We conducted investigation on the matter and reported our findings to the Senate. The report was laid and the consideration of the report commenced. But to this point, as I speak, the report was not finalized. And that gave rise to some columnists. I have a publication here by one of the columnists, Jafar, specifically mentioning my name and that of Aleru and the entire Senate, that we have compromised our position and that the purpose of not allowing this report to get through was because we actually were sponsored by some other people outside. What we did find when we went to Saudi Arabia comprised of certain anomalies, fraudulent ones. We discovered in Medina that the chairman of the Hajj Commission, National Hajj Commission, actually was issuing fake treasury revenue collectors receipts, and he has been collecting monies to the extent. Mr. President, sir, Mr. President.
Because you came on the point. You came on the point of order.
Yes, sir.
I think you are going beyond the point of order. You're not going into the report.
No, I'm not going into the report.
If you've gone on the point of order, and I'm waiting for you to tell how your privileges has been tapped back. No.
What I am trying to say is that as far as I am concerned, my own character is being assassinated in view of the fact that I was quoted there by the columnist as one of those people that are opposed to the reforms that were introduced by the chairman. The chairman did not introduce any reform. Actually, what happened was the chairman was fraudulently taking money from pilgrims. And we have evidence here, Mr. President. These are treasury revenue collectors' receipts that he issued in Medina to the tune of...
Distinguished Senator, I'm trying as much as possible to accommodate you, but we have to go according to our rules. You have come on the issue of your privileges. I think the point you are making is that a report was submitted we started taking the report, it was not completed in consideration. So I think the best we can do is to ensure that we slate the report for a date for it to be considered. And I think that is what we will do on this. Thank you, distinguished Senator. Leader of the Senate. The word again, Senator Gubri. This is Sokoto matter.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I come under Order 43. By the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a Senator may make a personal explanation, although there be no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may be any debate upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail if the President of the Senate, if his leave to make it short. Your Excellency, distinguished colleagues, I come under this order because of the problem we have currently in Sokoto. In the eastern part of Sokoto, which consists of about 8 local governments, we currently have a problem because the whole place has been invaded by the kidnappers and the armed robbers within those areas. For example, if you look at Raba, Isa, Sabandali, Guareño, and Gada, these areas have been invaded. 3 days ago, we had a situation whereby about 13 people were captured, were kidnapped in a place called Amai. And these people were following the area from Isa, because there is a place they call Halbawa in that area. What we need in that area is to have maybe a police station or to have an army depot there where they can be able to quell that anomaly. Then we also have a problem around Bulkusuma. This is an area where I went around during my campaign. Bulkusuma, Malamawa, Dankura, Dengedi, and then the other area very close to Adama and the Makwalwa. In this place here, we have quite a lot of problem because there is no day where ladies are not kidnapped or even men. Men are not sleeping in their houses now. They are always out with their gun guns. So I think a situation of this nature calls for concern, and therefore there is need for the government to look at this issue and assist us. Because every person you check around that area, 1 or 2 of them should have a gun. And if you have 5 of them, maybe 3 or 4 of them will have their own guns made of plugs, which is really terrible because by the time we finish with the kidnappers, then we have to now deal with the problem, with the menace of the younger boys that are holding guns within that area. So I think there is need for us to look at that issue and please assist us so that we can be able to be free in our own environment. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you for bringing that notice. As you know, the government, particularly the police, are doing their best to address this security situation, particularly in the Northwest. And I think also what we also do is bring this attention of Chairman Police so that special attention can also be addressed as it affects Sokoto State. Leader of the Senate.
The first business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the FCT Directorate of Road Traffic Administration Service Bill 2019. Mr. President, may we invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, FCT Directorate of Road Transport Traffic Administration Service Bill 2019, HB 1279, first reading.
FCT Directorate of Road Traffic Administration Service Bill 2019, HB 1279, first reading taken. Leader of Senate.
The second business of the day is also the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the University Veterinary Teaching Hospitals and Veterinary Specialist Hospital Abuja for protection of birds, Bill 2019. Mr. President, may we invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, University Veterinary Teaching Hospitals and Veterinary Specialist Hospitals Abuja Constitution of Boards Bill 2019, HB 568, first reading.
University Veterinary Teaching Hospitals and Veterinary Specialist Hospital Abuja, Constitutional Boards Bill 2019, HB 568, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
The third business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the National Biosafety Management Agency Act, Amendment Bill 2019. Mr. President, may we invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Biosafety Management Agency Act, Amendment Bill 2019, HB 1578, first reading.
National Biosafety Management Agency Act, Amendment Bill 2019, HB 1578, first reading taken. Leader of Senate.
The fourth business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the Defense Intelligence Agency Civilian Pension Board Establishment, etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, we will invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Defense Intelligence Agency Civilian Pension Board Establishment, etc. Bill 2019, HB 1557, first reading.
Defense Intelligence Agency Civilian Pension Board Establishment, etc. Bill 2019, HB 1557, first reading taken. Leader of Senate.
The fifth business of the day is the presentation of the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund on the Federal College of Education Technical Agoro, Belsa State Establishment, etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, may we invite Senator Baro Jibrin, Chairman of the Committee, to move the motion for the Senate to receive the report.
Senator Jibrin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Senator Baro Jibrin. I represent Kaduna North. Mr. President, I stand to move that this August Senate do receive the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institution and Third Fund on the Federal College of Education Technical Agoro, Bayelsa State, Establishment ETC Bill 2019 SB 615. Mr. President, I so move.
Senator Rozoko.
Cross River North. I second the motion that the Senate receive the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund on the Federal College of Education Technical Agoro, Bayelsa State Establishment Bill 2019 SB 615. So second.
Distinguished colleagues, vote in favor that the Senate do receive the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund on the Federal College of Education Technical Agoro, Bayelsa State Establishment, etc. Bill 2019 SB 615. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Jibril, come and lay the report. Leader of Senate.
Mr. President, very respected colleagues, the first order of the day is a motion standing in my name on the withholding of assent on the following bills pursuant to Section 58, Subsection 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. 1. Avoidance of double taxation between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the South Korea Bill 2019. 2. National Institute of Credit Administration 2019. And 3. Fisheries Institute of Nigeria 2019. Mr. President, with your permission, I wish to move the motion. Should I go ahead? Mr. President, Very distinguished colleagues, the Senate recalls that the President C&C has signified the withholding of his assent on the following bills pursuant to Section 58, Subsection 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. 1. Avoidance of double taxation between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Republic of South Korea. 2. Institute of Credit Administration of Nigeria Bill 2019. And 3. Fisheries Institute of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2019. And the Senate notes that the President made some observations which are relevant to the implementation of bills when assented to. The Senate relied on Orders 53, Subsection 6, and 88, Subsection B of the Senate Standing Orders, accordingly resolved to rescind its earlier decisions on the affected clauses of the bills at the Committee of the Whole for consideration and passage without amendment. I so move.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion as moved by the Senate.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the reports.
Mr. President, I stand to second the motion as moved.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yeah, distinguished colleagues, there are three bills. The first bill, avoidance of double taxation between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Republic of South Korea, Bill 2019, all retained. So those in favor of that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of that clause 2 and 3 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of that clause 4 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor of that long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The second bill is a bill for an act to establish National Institute of Credit Administration. There are three clauses here. Those in favor of that clauses 4, 5, and 6. Be renumbered accordingly. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of that long title on page 1 stands part of the bill. Say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The last bill is a bill for an act to establish Fisheries Institute of Nigeria, charge responsibility and registration and discipline of members of profession. Here it has 2 clauses. Those in favor of that clause 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of that clause 2 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of that schedule 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor of that long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Chairman, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate must plenary for the charter for progress.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion as moved.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Alero, I think you are voting on another matter. I don't think it's this part I voted on. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the avoidance of double taxation between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Republic of South Korea Bill 2019 and approved as follows: clauses 1 to 4 as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the Institute of Credit Administration of Nigeria Bill 2019 and approved as follows: clause 4 as recommended, clause 5 as recommended, clause 6 as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the Fishery Institute of Nigeria Fin Establishment Bill 2019 and approved as follows: clause 2 as recommended, clause 1 as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Clerk of the Senate, kindly reflect this amendment in the bills accordingly as passed. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is a motion standing in the name of Senator Andrew Uchendu on the frightening killings in Rivers State. Mr. President, you will recall that yesterday, Tuesday, the 21st of May 2019, the Senate via Order 42, subsection 2 of our standing order approved that this motion be moved on the next legislative day, which is today. Accordingly, you may wish to invite Senator Andrew Uchendu to move the motion.
Senator Uchendu.
Mr. President, my dear colleagues, I rise this morning to move this motion on the frightening killings in Rivers State. Mr. President, let me start by saying that some years ago, what is going around this country today in terms of insecurity, killings, kidnapping, and raping, were confined to a few states in the Niger Delta. Motions were raised both in the Senate and the House of Reps. Till today, it has not abated. But at the risk of monotony, I have to raise the case of Rivers State because a new dimension has been added to the killings. The Senate is aware that the killing of innocent citizens as a result of murder, kidnapping, violence, or abduction has been the bane of Rivers State for more than a decade now. Now recall that these killings assumed a very dangerous proportion before, during, and after the 2015 general elections, where more than 200 persons were killed. Senate is worried that the nature of killings in the state assumed a more horrendous dimension by the decapitation or dismembering of body parts, including beheading of victims. Only last week, about 4 heads were found along the east-west road for people to see. The Senate learned that a new twist has now been added to this sacrilegious conduct by not only killing by beheading, but also by having the corpses burnt. I have here with me, Mr. President, the video clips of burnt corpses. Informed that about 9 p.m. on Sunday, the 19th May 2019, unknown gunmen invaded a serene village called Isod community in Emoha local government area. That is my own local government area. And killed 3 young men that were just sitting outside, aged between 23 and 30, and unashamedly burnt the corpses. Senate is worried that these killings spread across the length and breadth of the state. Virtually, at least I had to reach out to the 8 local government areas I'm representing here in the Senate last night, and they reported these killings going on. Senate records that during the last interaction between the Senate and the Inspector General of Police, I stated emphatically that kidnappings and killings have become a way of life in the state, and nothing seems to be done. Aware that the primary responsibility of any responsive government is the provision of security of life and property of its citizens. The Senate is informed that the River State life has become more brutish and worthless. Since anybody can be killed, kidnapped, or arrested anytime, anywhere, any day. The Senate is alarmed that no meaningful strategy has been put in place to check this unbridled development in the polity. Regrets to know that traditional rulers and community heads who are neither in control of the police, the army, nor the resources are being held responsible to check kidnapping and killings in their various communities. Even all the efforts that the army made to ensure a reduction in this may not be using much result because of lack of cooperation. The government is busy condemning the army every day, even when they are helping to reduce the carnage. Therefore, the Senate resolves to urge the River State government to immediately liaise with the security agencies in River State to stop the incessant killings and kidnappings of innocent citizens in River State. Urge the federal and the River State government to develop workable strategies that will stop the rising cases of killings in the state. And therefore, I appeal, the Senate should appeal to all sons and daughters of the state to work towards finding a more lasting peace in the bilingual state. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Nala.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues. First, let me say that I am seconding this motion. But in doing so, I think I have found a convenient platform to make a case. You see, sir, for the records, the mover of this motion was my bosom friend, my colleagues in the House of Representatives. Way back in 2007 or thereabout. This matter was first brought on the floor of the House. And I remember vividly that I said this country has a responsibility to take decisive action where action of people appear to be clearly criminal. And my reasons then were, if you kidnap and collect money, and you say you are doing that on behalf of a movement, and then when you collect the money, instead of building school or hospital or something with it, you pocket it, and you are still claiming to be fighting on behalf of some people. I say that is criminal, and that the people should be dealt with. As at that time, my brother and friend, Uchendu, was the chairman of the South-South caucus of the House of Representatives. He knew what happened. The entire South-South people came and said, for me to describe those kidnappers as criminal, that I'm insulting the Niger Delta. Little did they know that I was talking as a patriot. I wanted a decisive action against a people whose actions were clearly criminal. If we had taken action as at that time, and a decisive one, we will not have been in this mess today. I'm telling you, sir. You see, sir, the argument has always been a group of people coming together to claim to be fighting on behalf of some people. That has always been the argument. And the second argument has always been that Nigeria is a poor country, and therefore, because of unemployment, people get to criminality. With due respect, I beg to disagree. And I keep on saying that I have 1,001 reasons to give to show that ours is a system that is not ready to respect the law of the land. Ours is a system where those charged with the responsibility to enforce the laws of the land have all of a sudden vindicated their responsibilities.
And I give example of some countries that are around us, which I know are poor. Let me state today that even in the United States of America, there are people, citizens of America, that cannot eat 3 square meals as we stand today. There are homeless people in London. We have them. So a collective responsibility that leaders will know that they have a responsibility to ensure that the laws of the land are obeyed, enforced, is what is lacking in this country. It's a sad story for Rivers. Rivers used to be one of the best states that senators and members will be happy visiting. And we know that the level of activity that takes place as far as oil industry is concerned in Rivers is so significant that if anything affects Rivers today, more than 70% of this country will be affected. So I think that we have reached a stage, sir, where as leaders, we must learn to avoid 2 things. We must never ever protect our own when they are wrong. We must learn that. And to proceed from here, sir, is to have collective responsibility. To say that those of us in position of leadership must first of all resolve to lead this country by example, by being law-abiding by ourselves. And only that can we have the moral basis to demand from the people we govern to follow the laws of the land, sir. Sadly, today, Senator Gobi raised this issue. Senator Sheikh Hussaini raised this issue. I'm very sad, sir. Very, very sad. Sad in the sense that today, in the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we have 3 interventions from 3 different senators that shows that the signs are not too good for us. It is not too late, sir. This issue is reversible. I am telling you, sir, with commitment, with patriotism, with the correct leadership from all of us collectively, we can reverse the situation, sir. I am sad about Rivers. I'm sad about wherever this is happening. And I think that as leaders, we must come out of the cocoonery of protecting our own when they are wrong. And only when we do that can we begin to pave the way for this country, you know, to be reversed towards achieving a civilized standard of living. Once again, in conclusion, Mr. President, I second this motion, and I am in total agreement with the prayers of the motion, and my friendship will remain permanently and pensionably so with distinguished Senator Andrew Uchendu, that we have had a very long history of being together. And just to demonstrate, sir, what happened at that time, sir, I will seek for your permission to turn back and look at him and tell him what happened that time. Niger Delta is not part of Nigeria. Thank you very much. That is the joke, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
This is the problem when we have not governors forum, we're having House of Rep forum in this Senate. Say, Chief Whip, and you are not commenting when we have House of Rep forum.
Members of the Governors Forum, which is not legislative,
Yes.
ought to keep quiet when members of the Legislators Forums are talking. And I mean, with due respect to one of them who is now presiding in the legislative chamber.
Well, Senator Diozia,
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, my fellow colleagues. Today we are talking of River State, a major and integral part of the Nigerian Federation. Only a few days ago, we invited the Inspector General of Police to brief this Senate of the situation in Nigeria. What is happening in River State is about what is happening in the entire country. I would like us to our statesmen. I would like us as statesmen consider this issue of River State as something that's affecting the entire Federation of Nigeria. We are trying as much as possible here to not to create a situation where we are demarcating a particular state. We cannot go to Kaduna today by road. It's a failure of security. A lot of places have indicated there is insecurity in their land. I think the security architecture in the entire country has failed. What we need now is a review of the situation in the entire country. If we isolate states, we may end up incurring the wrath of investors. When I read through the motion, I was a bit worried when you say a situation has lasted for a decade. And we are here. What are we doing here? We conducted elections, we came out successfully, and if it is completely against all norms, then of course we are supposed to be held accountable as well. We are leaders. As leaders, we must be able to nip the problems in the bud. I think that we should not make this a reverse issue. This is a Nigerian issue, and reading through the motion and then going to the prayers, I imagine that the prayers ought to have been specific to give directives that the culprits must be brought to book. It is a bit watered down because most of these things are actually happening. There are collaborative efforts between the state government and the federal government, but yet it's not yielding results. So what are we doing wrong? What is it that we ought to do that we have not done? Well, I think we should look at it now as statesmen, as nationalists, and come up with a solution to this general security in the land without necessarily identifying a particular state. I know that it is very bad, that is happening very close to us. It has happened in my constituency repeatedly, but then I'm also being careful that I don't use that to demarcate the state and cause even more boldness in those that we are now trying to promote by way of mentioning the activities or giving them that prominence in the National Assembly. I think that we should try to be a statesman, see what we can do, and rejig the security architecture in the country generally. Thank you.
All right, Senator Jibrin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Senator Jibrin, I represent Kaduna. Mr. President, it's really sad. Sad in the sense that we all know that in 1999 through 2000, the River State used to be very, very peaceful. Very, very peaceful. A lovely state. But from 2000 upwards, there was this struggle for power. Struggle for power that created a kind of situation where the football players began to arm boys, young men, with dangerous weapons, and they formed themselves into cultist groups. This is a well-known fact all over the country. We know that. And that created an ugly situation for insecurity in rivers. In fact, we from other parts of the country were so concerned. But the government of the day at that time did not see the danger in what was happening. So the government was not able to nip that ugly scenario, ugly development in the bud. Then later came in kidnapping and so on and so forth. And I would say the nucleus of what we are having around the country began there. I'm sorry I have to say it because we need to call a spade a spade. We are talking about solution. I always say whenever I get up to contribute on the issue of insecurity in this country, on this floor, on the floor of the Senate, I always talk about solution. But we need to look back see what created this ugly scenario before we begin to provide solution to the problem. We know about what happened when, because of struggle for power, the Kibo was killed and so on and so forth. And this ugly scenario, this situation, has been developing until it has come to the level it has become now. Now what do? What we need to do is to look at the problem and face it frontally. See how we can go to make sure, well, the police force has created a unit, which they call anti-cultism unit. That unit needs to be well, funded. It needs to be the personnel need to be, it needs to be well equipped so that they can deal with this problem. Once you don't deal with the problem of cultism in rivers, you will not get to solve the problem that we are now seeing occurring in rivers every day, where people are killed, people are kidnapped, and so on and so forth. So, Mr. President, the IG was here. Let's look at how the IG, of course, he has told us how he's going to deal with this problem. Let's see how we will support the IG, we support the police force, so that this matter can be brought to an end. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Ume.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, my colleagues, I rise to sympathize with the people of Rivers State, but the truth is that these horrendous killings going on in Nigeria, we've continued to have it because we have not made this type of crime unattractive. When people go and behead somebody, kill people in a very terrible manner, whatever manner, and the perpetrators are not caught and punished, others will try to do the same thing and go away. The only solution is to make this type of crime unattractive. When such a thing happens, not like contained in this motion, for over a decade, Rivers State has been a theater of gory killings, either by cultists or other types of criminals, or by any means. If we don't get people who do these things, parade them, and they get punished, others will continue to do the same thing. I want to give an example. On the 16th of April this year, a very prominent community leader in Anambra State, by 8 p.m., around 8 p.m., 5 young men shot this man 25 bullets, and he died in his car on the spot. Because of the determination to rid Anambra State of this type of crime, the governor had to order the security agencies and other security outfits in Anambra State to fish out these perpetrators and put a reward for that, 5 million naira, anybody who can bring useful information. Mr. President, within 2 weeks, the people who killed this man were apprehended, 2 of them were apprehended and paraded. And it turned out that one of the killers, the assassins, was a next door neighbor to the community leader. I can tell you, Mr. President, that if that action had not been taken, those of us who come from that proximity would have been afraid to go home again. So the government must do something. We're talking about governors forum here. These killings have been going on in states where the governors have not helped matters. The Zafaraon has been there. The River State has been, according to the motion, for 10 years, River State has been a theater of gory killings. So if the government cannot do anything to mobilize the security agencies When they kill somebody, 2, 3, you get 2 out of the 3 incidents, the thing will go down. But when they do that, they disappear. Nobody gets to hear anything anymore, and this thing will continue. So I think that apart from the measures being sought on this motion paper, the governor of the state in question, Rivers, should be told in clear terms. You should rid Rivers State of this type of violent crimes. The governor can do that. If they take it serious, it can continue. Whenever I stand up here and say that Anambra State is a safe state, it's not because I come from there. It is the reality. Crime is everywhere. You can't read any society of this type of crime all over the world. But what makes it unattractive is the action government takes as soon as it happens. People are ready to kill anybody today, but if they know that when they kill and they are apprehended, they will think twice. So that is what I think. And the governors should help solve this problem. It's not a question of only police. It's not a question of only police. If you leave it to the police to deal with, it cannot happen. The one I demonstrated now, the first person was caught. Our governor gave another money for anybody who gives information to get others. It didn't take time. Another person was apprehended. And they confessed they were part of the killings. So I think the governor should put money in security. If you are relying on the state police command to combat crime, just like that, it's not possible. The governor should use their security votes. That's the essence of security votes. They should use their security votes to provide security to citizens in their state. Otherwise, if you cannot work, I tell the Tuchendo that Rivers State will be blacklisted. If you cannot do anything about the cultists, on the 23rd of February, remember, a gentleman was killed when he was preparing to go and cast his vote in the same Rivers State. We read about it, and they carried the victim, went somewhere and mutilated his body, cut it to pieces. Somebody who had had doctorate degree from University of Port Harcourt. He was killed in such a manner, and people who contested the election may have been declared winners, and they're happy. The killers of this gentleman were not found. It is very appalling, very terrible. So the government and the chief executives of these governments in the various states should put their eyes on the ground, mobilize security people so that they will make crime unattractive. This is my contribution to this. And if we don't do this, these killings will not stop. Some governors have run away from their states. They now live in Abuja. They live in Abuja, they don't stay there. When you ask, they say, oh, there are too many killings, like Zamfara, for example, is a notorious place. You kill people there, and the governor is not at home. He lives in Abuja, attending meetings in Abuja. Every day, people are killed in Zamfara. So this problem, the governors should be charged with greater responsibility of combating this crime, making it stop. I'm very sorry for what has happened, but this type of killings can no longer be tolerated in a society of this century, where you go and apprehend a woman, you cut her head, cut her private parts, and dump her, sometimes burnt, according to the motion paper, and nobody will be caught. These people doing these things have neighbors. If you put money into the investigations, they do it within 3 days, you get one of the perpetrators. And once you start doing it, you make it unattractive. Thank you, Mr. President.
We'll go to prayers. Prayer 1. Urge the Rivers State government to completely liaise with security agents in Rivers State to stop incessant killings and kidnapping of innocent citizens in Rivers State. But but prayer 1 and prayer 2, and they are the same. So we just take prayer 2 then, if we all agree. You want to amend prayer 1? Well, I say, why don't we just go to prayer 2? I mean, drop prayer 1, just go to prayer 2. And amend prayer 2. Huh? Yeah. 2. Okay, let's put the question on prayer 1, then let that go, then I'll take you. Those in favor of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. Nays have it. Prayer 2, amendment, yes.
Mr. President, Yahya Abdullahi Kebino, asked the federal government and River State government to invite all the political operators in River State to a round table in order to develop workable strategies that will stop the rising cases of killings in the state. I'm making this amendment, Mr. President, because I think the case of Rivers, Mr. President, is a very special case. Because what is happening is that because of the chasing and the very deep suspicions and the fight between the political operators on either side of the divide, criminals and cult members are finding a loophole within which they can exploit the divisions, the political divisions within the state.
Amendment. Okay, you've made your amendment. Any seconder? All right, prayer 2. Those in favor that urge the federal government and River State government to develop workable strategies that will stop the rising killings in the state. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. There is a prayer 3. Appeal to all sons and daughters of the state to work towards finding a lasting peace in the Bulgaria state. Those in favor of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. Thank you, Senator Uchendu. I think we must additional prayer. Okay, additional prayer. Senator Dios.
Urge the Inspector General of Police to make all efforts to bring the perpetrators of the heinous crime to book.
Federal and state government.
Any seconder? No. Additional prayer, Senator Kapiru Gaya.
I thought, thank you, Mr. President.
What are you have another title?
From Gaya Emirates.
No, there's another title.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Kabiru Gaya, represent the people of Kano South from Kano State. Mr. President, I want to add an additional prayer in addition to the prayers mentioned. Most of our problems, Mr. President, order. What's the chief whip? Mr. President, most of these crises have been escalating due to the lack of implementation of white papers. I can cite so many places. I was the chairman on crisis of Kaduna and other various crises.
Amen. Additional prayer.
My prayer is, I urge the state government to implement the decisions on the white papers produced or implement, white papers in River State, where a lot of people have found working. So let them take decisions on the white paper.
Any seconder? Don't worry. Let me thank Senator Uchendu for bringing this motion. I think, as we all said, the security situation in the country is a matter of concern to all of us. And I think that we should never allow or put down the issue of criminality. The issue of criminality must be dealt with decisively, not on the issue and at this level to bring in any reason to excuse it by whatever different political divides. I think that the issue is that any parts of the country, the issue of River State also will be addressed. And I think it's important for both the state government and the federal government to work very closely together in resolving this problem. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the Conference Committee report on the Nigeria Football Federation Establishment, etc. Bill 2019. Distinguished senators will recall that the Senate and the House passed different versions of the Nigeria Football Federation Establishment Bill 2019. The Conference Committee of both houses have met and harmonized the differences in accordance with Senate Standing Order 88. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Shehu Sani to move the motion for the Senate to consider the conference report.
Senator Shehu Sani.
Yeah, I play for Super Eagles. Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate do consider the report on a bill for an act to repeal the Nigeria Football Federation Act Cap 100/2004 and enact the Nigeria Football Federation and other matters connected therewith. So move.
Senator James Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. James Manager, Delta, sir. I rise to move the motion, to second the motion as praised, as moved.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do receive and consider the Conference Committee report on the Nigeria Football Federation Establishment, etc. Bill 2019 SB 154. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Shani, come and lay the report and then present it. Thank you.
Mr. President, this report is one of the most important reports as far as sports, as far as football specifically is concerned in the country. It brings the Nigerian football administration in line with global best practices. And I read thus: following the consideration and the message and the passage of the bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Football Association Act Cap 100/2004 and enact the Nigeria Football Federation and other matters connected therewith 2019 by the Senate and the House of Representatives on Tuesday, 30th of May 2017 and Thursday, 2018 respectively, the two chambers of the National Assembly set up a conference committee to reconcile areas of differences in the bill. The committee action. The conference committee met on Tuesday, 5th of February 2019 to harmonize the differences in the bill as passed by both chambers. The two chambers passed different versions in the bill as shown below. So I move to recommendation. After a thorough scrutiny of the bill as passed by the two chambers, the conference committee adopted the House version. Conclusion: the committee wishes to express its gratitude the Senate and the House of Representatives for the opportunity to serve and to give the nation a befitting FFF that will serve as the administrative body for the Nigerian football. I thank you very much.
Any comments? If not, I'll put the question. Those in favor that the Senate do approve the Conference Committee report on the Nigeria Football Federation Establishment Bill 2019, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much, Senator Shehu Sani. Let me once again thank our colleagues for getting a very landmark bill that we have just passed here. For over 20 years now, this bill in trying to put the administration of football in this country in line with best practices has always been stampeded, prevented for personal reasons, for one thing or the other. We thank that it was under this Senate National Assembly we finally put this. This will make our administration of football much better. It will continue to place us in a better position. So I thank all those in the Sports Committee, both in the House and the Senate, for finally again passing a bill that has taken so long in the history of this country to pass, and I'm sure those lovers of football and lovers of this country will be delighted for this achievement we've done. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the presentation and consideration report of the Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters on the National Assembly Budget and Research Office Establishment, etc. Bill 2019. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 24th of April 2019. Mr. President, we wish to invite Senator Emmanuel Polka, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senator Polka.
Office, etc. Bill 2019 SB 736. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Abukari.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Abukari Borno North, I second the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Establishment and Public Service on the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, etc. Bill SB 736. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Establishment and Public Service on the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, Establishment Sector Bill 2019, SB 736. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Polka, come and lay and then present the report. Thank you.
Mr. President, report of the Senate Committee on Establishment and Public Service on a bill for an act to establish National Assembly Budget and Research Office, which provides the National Assembly with objective, timely, and non-partisan analysis needed for economic and budget decisions and for related matters, SB 736. The Senate at this plenary sitting on Wednesday, 24th April 2019, deliberated on the general principle of National Assembly Budget and Research Office, Establishment Bill 2019. After extensive deliberation, the bill was read for the second time and referred to the Senate Committee on Establishment and Public Service for further legislative action via Senate Order of Referral dated 24th April 2019. In retrospect, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I wish to state here that the bill is not new to this 8th Senate. You recall that the bill was passed by the House of Representatives on Thursday, 9 June 2016, and was passed in the Senate on Thursday, 20th October 2016. Thereafter, the conference committee was set up by both chambers to reconcile areas of differences noticed in the two versions of the bill. The bill was harmonized, and the harmonized copy was forwarded to Mr. President for his assent. It's been more than 6 months or more than the bill was sent to Mr. President for assent. But Mr. President neither assented nor declined assent to this laudable piece of legislation, hence the need to reconsider the bill and again pass it without amendment for onward transmission to Mr. President for his assent. In accordance with Rule 88B of the Senate Standing Orders 2015 as amended, which provides that where the President either withholds his assent to a bill or does not communicate his assent or otherwise within 30 days from the date the bill was sent to him for assent, the Senate shall again deliberate on the bill. Therefore, by passing this bill again, the Senate has complied with this provision. Recommendation. Mr. President, dear colleague, the Senate Committee on Establishment and Public Service, to which this bill was referred, having considered same, hereby recommend as follows: that the Senate do pass the National Assembly Budget and Research Office Establishment Bill 2019 in its origin form. I so move, in its original form, I so move and urge the Senate to pass this bill. Conclusion, I wish to, on behalf of this committee, thank the President of the Senate and my distinguished colleagues for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. The bill in its original form is attached herewith for your consideration in line with the committee's recommendation. Thank you, Mr. President and dear colleagues.
Leader of the Senate. Committee of the Whole.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate will go to the Committee of the Whole to consider the report clause by clause.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I like to second the motion.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the bill is retained, so there are just 24 clauses exactly as how it was passed initially, so nothing controversial, no change. So those in favor of clause 1 to 10 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of clauses 11 to 20 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of clauses 21 to 23 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that Schedule 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that explanatory memorandum on page 12 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the short title, clause 24 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. Chairman, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate reverts to plenary for the charter for progress.
Mr. Chairman, I second that the Senate revert to plenary to report progress.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Establishment and Public Service on National Assembly Budget and Research Office, Establishment, etc. Bill 2019 are approved as follows. Clause 1 to 23 as recommended, Schedule 1 as recommended, Explanatory Memorandum as recommended, Short title as recommended, Long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the bill be now read the third time.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second that the bill be read a third time.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the bill be read third time say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, which provide the National Assembly with objective, timely, and non-partisan analysis needed for economic and budget decisions and for related matters 2019, third reading.
A bill for an act to establish National Assembly Budget and Research Office, which provides the National Assembly with objective, timely, and non-partisan analysis needed for economic and budget decisions and for related matters 2019 is read the third time and passed. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, fifth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Public Accounts on the Federal Audit Service Bill 2019. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 8 May 2019. Mr. President, may we invite Senator Matthew Rogide, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Senators Matthew Rogide.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Senator Matthew Rogide. I represent the group of Edo South Central District in Edo State. Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Public Accounts on the Federal Audit Service Bill 2019 SB 742. I so move.
Senator Gubri.
Your Excellency, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion. Doubly moved.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Public Accounts on the Federal Audit Service Bill 2019 SB 742. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Matthew Rogide, come and lay the report and then present.
represent Edo South Central District. The Senate at its plenary sitting on Wednesday, 8 May 2019, deliberated on the general principles of the Federal Audit Service Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2019 SB 742. The second time I refer same to the Senate Public Accounts Committee for further legislative action. To report back next legislative date, the committee received the referral on Thursday, 9 May 2019. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the bill is not new to the 8th Senate. The bill was passed by the House of Representatives on 19th April 2016 and transmitted to the Senate for concurrence. The Senate passed the bill on Thursday, 1st March 2018. Due to differences in the version passed by the two chambers, conference committee was set up to reconcile areas of differences. The bill was harmonized and passed by both chambers. The harmonized copy was forwarded to Mr. President for his assent on the 8th of January 2019. It is over 4 months that the bill was sent to Mr. President for assent, but Mr. President neither assented nor declared assent to the bill. Committee's action. The meeting of the committee was convened to deliberate on the referral. The committee reviewed the relevance of the bill and its envisaged contribution to the promotion of transparency, probity, and accountability in the management of public funds of the Federation and as the bedrock for fighting corruption. Observation. The committee, having examined the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended and Senate standing orders, observed as follows. 1. That the National Assembly followed due process in the passage of the bill. 2. That the bill was transmitted to Mr. President for assent as specified by the Constitution. 3. That this bill is very important to the nation as passing into law will form the bedrock for fighting corruption, which is one of the cardinal objectives of Mr. President's administration. It will empower the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation, who has the constitutional mandate of auditing all accounts of the Federation, to nip corruption in the board, ensure transparency in government transactions, etc. 5. That this bill will address acute manpower shortage existing in the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation and bring it in tandem with the supreme audit institutions and international best practices as obtained in other climes such as South Africa, Ghana, United Kingdom, etc. That all relevant stakeholders to the bill expressed support for its passage and had no objection to any of the clauses, starting from when we had the public hearing. Mr. President, number 6, that since Mr. President did not communicate to the National Assembly as to why he withheld his assent to the bill, the most valuable option for the National Assembly in view of constraint of time is to liaise with Mr. President to ensure that his assent to the bill before the end of the 8th Assembly. Recommendation. In line with the foregoing observations, the Senate Public Accounts Committee hereby recommends as follows. 1. That the Senate do pass again the Federal Audit Service Commission Establishment Bill 2019 for presidential assent. And 2. That the Senate do mandate its leadership to liaise with Mr. President in a legislative-executive interaction with a view to getting him to assent to the Federal Audit Service Commission Establishment Secretarial Bill before the lapse of the 8th National Assembly. I so move. In conclusion, I wish to, on behalf of the Senate Public Accounts Committee, thank the Senate President and the entire Senate and my distinguished colleagues for the opportunity given to us to serve in this capacity. Thank you very much, President.
Leader of the Senate, Committee of the Whole.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate Committee of the Whole to consider the report clause by clause.
Mr. President, I rise to second that the Senate resolve into a committee of the whole to consider the bill.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, as presented by the chairman of the committee, this is the same bill. We're just passing it again, so not all the clauses have changed, so I'm just going to move swiftly through that. Those in favor that clause 1 to 10 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 11 to 20 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 21 to 30 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 31 to 40 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those against that clause 41 to 50 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 51 and 52 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that schedule 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that short title clause 53 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. Chairman, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate reverse to plenary for the charge report progress.
Mr. Chairman, I second that the Senate refer to plenary to report progress.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Public Accounts on the Federal Audit Service Bill 2019 and approved as follows: clauses 1 to 52 as recommended, Schedule 1 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the bill be now read the third time.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second that the bill be read a third time.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the bill be read the third time say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the office of the Auditor General for the Federation, provide for additional powers and functions to the office, establish the Federal Audit Service Commission, repeal the Audit Act 1956, the Public Account Committee Act, Cap P35, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Federal Audit Service Commission and for other related matters thereto, 2019, third reading.
A bill for an act to establish the office of the Auditor General for the Federation, provide for additional powers and functions to the office, establish the Federal Audit Service Commission, repeal the Audit Act 1956, the Public Accounts Committees Act, Cap P35, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Federal Audit Service Commission for other related matters to 2019. It's read the third time and passed. Let me thank the chairman of the Public Accounts and our colleagues. This bill is a very, very important bill in the fight against corruption. Truly is a bedrock. There is no way we can say we will make any progress in the fight against corruption if we still have over 200 to 300 of our agencies who are not audited, do not send audit reports, and it is through this bill that we'll begin to tackle those issues. And I want us to commend those who have done this, and I hope that Mr. President this time around will assent to this bill, because this is a bill truly that will go a long way in helping the government fight corruption. For as long as agencies are not audited or they do not provide audit reports, we are just paying lip service to the fight against corruption. It is fight against corruption is true institution. We must strengthen the institutions that will do it. And this is one of that bill that will do that. And we hope this time around we will be successful and get the assent of Mr. President on this. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the sixth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the conference committee report on the National Road Establishment, etc. Bill 2019. Mr. President, the chairman has just told me that he wants this order stood down till another legislative day to enable the committee carry out more legislative work. I therefore move that we stand out the consideration of this report till another legislative day.
Mr. President, I rise to second that this order be stood down for another legislative day. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the 7th to the 14th order of the day are House bills for concurrence as listed on the order paper. Distinguished senators will recall that these bills were read the first time in December on Tuesday, 14th May 2019, Wednesday, 8th May 2019, Thursday, 16th May 2019, and Tuesday, 21st May 2019, respectively. Mr. President, for the simple nature of the amendments, I will use a single lead debate on these bills. Sorry, Madam. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on the following bills from the House of Representatives for our concurrence. 1. Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria Bill 2019, AB 623. 2. Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners Establishment, etc. Bill 2019, HB 1258. 3. Separation of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Bill 2019, HB 1571. 4. Corporate Bodies Members Emolument Act Repeal Bill 2019, HB 669. 5. National Institute for Brackish Water Fisheries Research, Ngo Andoni Establishment, etc. Bill 2019.
Distinguished colleagues, there's too much noise, please.
5. National Institute for Brackish Water Fisheries Research, Ngwandoni Establishment Etc. Bill 2019, HB 1310. 6. Nigeria Council for Management Development Bill 2019, HB 461. 7. Traffic Warden Service Bill 2019, HB 596. And 8. Nigeria Road Safety Commission Bill 2019, HB 1328. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, the Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria Bill 2019 was read the first time on Tuesday, 14th May 2019. This bill seeks to establish the Institute of Transport Administration in Nigeria, charged with the responsibility of advancing the study, training, and practice of transport management and administration in Nigeria. The Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners Establishment Bill 2019 was read the first time on Wednesday, 8th May 2019. This bill seeks to establish the Institute of Social Work Practitioners to be charged with the responsibility for registration of persons aspiring to become social work practitioners in Nigeria. The Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Bill 2019 was read the first time on Wednesday, 8th May 2019. This bill seeks to provide for the suppression of piracy and other maritime offences, give effect to the provisions of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, 1982, the Convention for the Separation of Unlawful Acts Against the Safety of Maritime Navigation, 1988, and its protocols. The Corporate Bodies Members Emolument Act Repeal Bill 2019 was read the first time on Thursday, 16th May 2019. This act repeals the Corporate Bodies Members Emolument Act (CAP) C30 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. The National Institute for Brackish Water Fisheries Research, Ngwandoni Establishment, etc. Bill 2019 was read the first time on Thursday, the 16th day of May 2019. This bill seeks to establish the National Institute for Brackish Water Fisheries Research, Ngwandoni, for fishery research, education, and cooperative training in Nigeria. The Nigeria Council for Management Development Bill 2019 was read the first time on Thursday, 16th May 2019. This bill repeals the Nigeria Council for Management Development Act (CAP) N99 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, enacts the Nigerian Council for Management Development Bill 2019, and prescribes penalties for any violation of its provisions. The Traffic Warden Service Bill 2019 was read the first time on Thursday, 16th day of May 2019. This bill seeks to establish enforcement of intracity road traffic control, regulation, and to ensure steady vehicular movement in the metropolitan cities and urban roads in the country. The Nigeria Road Safety Commission Bill 2019 was read the first time on Tuesday, 21st May 2019. This bill seeks to repeal the Federal Road Safety Commission Act 2007 and to enact a bill for an act to establish the Nigeria Road Safety Commission with the responsibility for traffic management, provision and minimization of road traffic crashes, the supervision of users of such roads, the regulation of traffic thereon, clearing of obstructions on any part of roads, the education of drivers, motorists and other members of the public generally on the proper use of the roads. Mr. President, my very distinguished and respected colleagues, these bills are not controversial and have gone through rigorous scrutiny and public hearings in the House of Representatives. I therefore urge you all to support the second reading of these bills as we refer them to the Committee of the Whole for clause-by-clause consideration. Thank you.
There are no objections. I'll put the question. Those in favor that bills now be read the second time say aye. Those against say nay. Yes, have it. Lack of sense.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the bill for an act to establish the Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, charged with responsibility of advancing the study, training, and practice of transport management and Administration in Nigeria and for related matters 2019, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, charged with responsibilities for advancing the study, training, and practice of transport management and administration in Nigeria and for related matters 2019, second reading taken. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Council for Social Work to regulate the practice of professional social work in Nigeria and for related matters 2019, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Council for Social Work to regulate the practice of professional social work in Nigeria and for related matters 2019 is read the second time. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the bill for an act to provide for the suppression of piracy and other maritime offenses give effect to the provisions of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, 1992, the Convention for the Suppression of Unlawful Acts Against the Safety of Maritime Navigation, SUA, 1988, and its protocols, and for related matters 2019, second reading.
A bill for an act to provide for the suppression of piracy and other maritime offenses, give effect to the provisions of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, 1982, the Convention for Suppression of Unlawful Acts Against the Safety of Maritime Navigation, SUA, 1988, and its protocols, and for related matters 2019 is read the second time. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the bill for an act to repeal the Corporate Bodies Members Emolument Act, Cap C30, LFN 2004, and for related matters 2019, second reading.
A bill for an act to repeal the Corporate Bodies Members Emolument Act, Cap C30, LFN 2004, and for related matters 2019 is read second time. Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Brackish Fishery Research Institute of Nigeria, NGO, for fishery research, education, and cooperative training in Nigeria, and for related matters 2019, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Brackish Fisheries Research Institute of Nigeria, NGO, for fisheries research, education, and cooperative training in Nigeria, and for related matters 2019, second reading taken. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Council for Management Development Act, Cap N99, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Nigerian Council for Management Development and for other related matters, 2019, second reading.
A bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Council for Management Development Act, Cap N99, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Nigerian Council for Management Development and for related matters 2019, second reading taken. Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Traffic Warden Service, which shall be responsible for the appointment, promotion, and discipline of traffic wardens, issuance of certificate of appointment and discharge, and for related matters 2019, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Traffic Warden Service, which shall be responsible for the appointment, promotion, and discipline of traffic wardens, issuance of certificate of appointment and discharge, and for related matters 2019, second reading taken. Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Road Safety Commission with responsibility for traffic administration and safety management, prevention and minimization of road traffic crashes, the supervision of users of such roads, the regulation of traffic thereon, clearing of obstruction on any part of the roads, the education of drivers, motorists, and other members of the public generally on the proper use of the roads and for related matters to safety on the roads, 2019, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Road Safety Commission with responsibility for traffic administration and safety management, prevention and minimization of road traffic crashes, the supervision of users of such roads, the regulation of traffic thereon, clearing of obstructions on any part of the roads, the education of drivers, motorists, and other members of the public, generally on the proper use of the roads and for related matters to safety on the roads 2019 is read the second time. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate resolve the committee of the whole. Consider the points.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second that the Senate resolve into a committee of the whole for a class-by-class consideration. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I'll take the first bill, which is the Institute of Transport Administration. It has 23 clauses. So again, nothing controversial. So I'm going to move swiftly through that. Those in favor of that clause 1 to 10 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Those in favor of that clause 11 to 20 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Those in favor of that clause 21 and 22 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of schedules 1 to 3 stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum on page 23 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the short title clause 23 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. And those in favor that the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The next bill is the bill on the establishment of Chartered Institute of Social Worker Practitioners. These has 35 clauses. Those in favor of that clause 1 to 10 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of that clauses 11 to 20 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of that clause 21 to